Welcome to another instructional video by Everlast Refiner. In this video, I will show you how to install an Everlast Refiner bypass oil filter system on a 2006 Freightliner with a Caterpillar C13 engine. First, we'll talk about the kit. The installation kit comes complete with everything you'll require to do the complete installation on this truck. It comes complete with a number 40 bypass oil refiner, a 12 volt DC heated lid for the thermal dehydrator, dispersion plate assembly, inlet and outlet hoses, mounting brackets, regulating valve, oil sampling valve, oil pan fitting adapter, oil pressure switch adapter, installation hardware kit, inline fuse, power and ground wire assemblies, all the necessary consumable materials, and one number 40 filter element. Additional filter elements can be purchased at everlastrefiner.com. First, we're going to install the mounting brackets and the oil refiner canister. We do this by installing the mounting brackets on the driver's side of the headache rack as shown. Install the top bracket using the 1-inch spacers, 1/4 20 by 2.5-inch bolts, nuts, and lock washers provided in the hardware kit. Next, install the lower bracket using the 1/4 20 by 1.5-inch bolts, nuts, and lock washers provided. Orient the refiner canister so that the return port on the side of the canister is facing toward the center of the truck. Install the refiner canister on the brackets just installed using the 1/4 20 by 1.5-inch bolts, nuts, and lock washers provided. Once installed, the refiner canister must be reasonably level. Next, we're going to install the engine oil supply line. Using the thread sealant compound provided, install the oil sample valve and oil regulating valve assemblies onto the bottom inlet port of the oil refiner canister as shown. There are two valves here. The one on the side with the 90-degree elbow and plug is for taking oil samples. The bottom valve is for regulating incoming oil. Now, using the thread sealant compound provided, install the non-swivel end of the 1/4 inch pressure hose assembly to the bottom valve on the oil refiner canister. Next, route the pressure hose assembly down and forward along the driver's side frame rail to the engine oil pressure switch located on the driver's side of the engine. It's located in the middle of the engine about halfway up. Secure it as required with the tie wraps provided. At the engine oil pressure sensor, disconnect the hydraulic hose and install the number 4 JIC oil pressure switch adapter T provided and orient the side port downward as shown. These are all JIC connections and do not require thread sealant. Install the JIC end of the pressure hose assembly to the side port of the oil pressure switch adapter T just installed. Next, we're going to install the engine oil return line. Using the thread sealant provided, attach the non-swivel end of the 3/4 inch return hose assembly to the return port on the side of the oil refiner canister. Route the 3/4 inch return hose down and forward along the driver's side frame rail to the engine oil pan. Remove the aft accessory port plug located on the driver's side of the oil pan and drain the engine oil. Install the number 16 O-ring boss to 3/4 inch female pipe thread adapter on the oil pan accessory port. This adapter has an O-ring and does not require thread sealant. Next, using the thread sealant provided, install the 3/4 inch 90-degree street elbow onto the adapter just installed on the oil pan and orient this elbow as shown. Using the thread sealant provided, attach the swivel end of the oil return hose to the 3/4 inch street elbow just installed. This hose assembly returns oil to the oil pan by gravity, so the hose assembly must go downhill all the way to the oil pan. At no point in the routing of the hose assembly should it dramatically go uphill. Secure the routing of the oil return hose assembly as required with the provided tie wraps. Replace the engine oil and check for leaks. Next, we're going to establish the electrical connections to the thermal dehydrator located on the top of the oil refiner canister. First, access the power distribution panel located inside the passenger side of the cabin dashboard. Drill a 1/8 inch hole in the firewall as shown and route the red power wire through the firewall from the cab into the engine compartment. Later, once this power wire assembly installation is complete, you'll need to go back and fill this hole with the silicone provided to prevent chafing. Next, route the red power wire down and back along the passenger side frame rail, following the existing wiring harness. Once at the rear of the cab, route the red power wire up along the oil return line as shown. Install the end of the red power wire assembly to one of the posts on the heated lid of the thermal dehydrator. It does not matter which, the heated element is not polarity sensitive. Secure the wire routing with the tie wraps provided. Next, install the ground wire assembly. One end is attached to the remaining post of the heated lid assembly of the thermal dehydrator. The other end is attached to one of the bolts on the bracket. Now back at the power distribution panel in the cab, route the red power wire up and behind the power distribution panel as shown. At this point, install the inline fuse using the blue butt connector and route it to the power distribution panel and connect it to the fuse slot as shown. Secure this wire routing with the tie wraps provided. Now it's time to operationally check the system and set the flow rate. First, start the engine and check for leakage. Check both the pressure and return connections at the engine and also at the oil refiner canister to ensure there is no leakage. Next, remove the heated lid from the oil refiner canister using a rag or a glove. This lid is electrically heated and gets reasonably hot. Not hot enough to burn you, but you wouldn't want to hold on to it very long. Next, watch for oil flow across the dispersion plate. This will take several minutes, so be patient. Opening the regulator valve fully and running the engine at high idle will help speed up this process. Once flowing, adjust the regulator valve on the bottom of the oil refiner canister so that a slow, even flow of oil covers the step dispersion plate at idle. Once established, run the engine at high speed to ensure that the can will not overflow. If you notice the refiner canister filling up, readjust the regulator valve on the bottom of the oil refiner canister to slow the flow rate. Reinstall the heated lid using a rag or glove and install the washer and wing nut to secure the heated lid assembly. Hand tight is fine. Next, check the oil quantity and top it off. Maintenance. All that's required to maintain this Everlast refiner bypass oil filtration system is to check your oil level and dispersion plate flow rates regularly. Also take oil samples every 20,000 miles. If you notice the flow rate across the dispersion plate slowing, or if you get a oil sample result that indicates that it's time to replace the oil filter element, do so. If not, we recommend replacement of the oil filter element once per year. Oil analysis. If you have any questions about your engine oil analysis results, please go to everlastrefiner.com/oil-analysis for assistance with any questions about your sample results. There's a complete section here on our website that thoroughly explains what oil analysis results should look like and how to interpret them. Finally, how does it work? Well, if you have any questions about how the system actually works, please go to everlast-refiner.com/how-does-it-work to find out how this bypass oil refiner system works and how it maintains the quality of your motor oil continuously. If you have any technical questions, please contact our technical support at mark@everlastrefiner.com. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video.